So from this video onwards, we will start diving into Python basics, and I would be using Jupyter Notebook for demonstrating all the concepts. In case you haven't watched the video where I introduced Jupyter Notebook, I would recommend watching the video that is linked here. So now let's get started with variables. Variables are used for storing any kind of data. Since Python is a dynamically typed language, we don't need to specify explicitly the type of the variable or declare the variable like we do in statically typed languages like Java, C++, C. Variable is created the moment you assign a value to it. Type is determined by the value that is assigned to it. So for example, in this case, I have assigned value 10 to variable A and 9.4 to variable B, and if I print the type of variable A, then I would see that it is an integer, whereas the type of variable B, which is 9.4, would be a float. How these variables are stored in memory is something I'll be covering in the later part of the video, so do watch the video till the end. Coming back to storing data in variables, you can store different types of data in variables like numbers, as we saw here, and then you can also store text. The text can be stored in this form, either inside the double quotes or inside a single quote. Also, you can store boolean values like this. So now let's take a look at how things work behind the scenes in memory when you assign a variable some value. So when you do x equals to 5, what actually happens is that inside the heap memory, an integer object is created with the value 5, and it has some memory address. Let's say it has memory address xxxx, and the variable x just points to this particular address location like this. So now when you do, let's say, y equal to 10, then a similar thing would happen. An integer object 10 is created inside the heap memory, which has some different memory location. Let's say y, and y would just start pointing to this particular address location. Now if you want to assign same value as x to another variable, and you do something like z equals to x or z equals to 5, in that case it won't create another integer object. Rather, it would simply just create another variable and make it point to the existing integer object. Something like this would happen. There would be a variable z, and it would just point to the same memory location as x is pointing to. How you can verify this in Python is, let's go back to our Jupyter notebook, and here I have assigned 3 different variables. One is x equals to 5, y equals to 10, and z equals to x. And then if you want to print the address location, you can use this id function on the variables, and when you do id of x, you would see the address location of this variable x, and as you can see here, the address location of x and z is the same, whereas that of y is different, because y is pointing to 10, whereas x is pointing to 5, and z is pointing to where x is. An important point to remember here is that everything is an object in Python. That's all I had about variables. If you have any further questions, you can write down in the comments below. And to access this Jupyter notebook, you can access it from the GitHub link that is linked in the description below.